Coming to you almost live from beautiful downtown Signal Hill, California. It's Jazz Live with the Way Cool Jazz Angels. Today, you'll hear about famous jazz club in Long Beach, a special interview with the great Tatiana Tate, and a lot of great jazz from our amazing Jazz Angels youth bands. But first, here's your host, Barry Kogert.
Thanks so much, Echo, and thanks to you for tuning in. We're going to kick off the show with one of our own Jazz Angels bands playing a really cool version of Spooky. Sitting next to me is one of our Jazz Angels musicians, Cruz Ellingson. Cruz, how long have you been in Jazz Angels?
Well, I've been in Jazz Angels for about 2 years, and in those 2 years, I think it's a very fun thing to play.
All right, I'm glad that you've been with us for 2 years. Part of those 2 years was during that whole shutdown when everyone was learning from home. We had our online program from home, and you participated in that. What was it like being in a jazz band from home?
Well, being in a jazz band from home was pretty fun because I got to play jazz from the comfort of my own house.
What was like your family? Were they happy about that? Were they excited about it? Were you playing other music during when we weren't rehearsing?
Well, really, my family didn't. Well, they just wanted me to join and just keep doing it because I liked it. And I enjoyed playing a lot of music that wasn't the jazz music that you assigned us.
Okay, and you know what, in thinking about that, I think that's where I met your brother, right? Because he kind of chimed in once playing bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That was a pretty unique opportunity that I don't think we would have had. You know, during that process, Jazz Angels were asked to write a book on how to improvise and how to play jazz, and that book was going to be distributed to students who didn't have like a regular extensive music library. So I asked a bunch of musicians, hey, would you do a video tutorial of some of these songs? And you were one of the few that said, yes, I'll do that. How come you said yes?
Well, I said yes is because it's an opportunity that not a lot of people get to take and do, so I just did it.
You just kind of went for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. So folks, here is the book that Cruz helped put together, The Improv Guide for Musicians. We're going to play a little clip of it, of Cruz doing his solo on that video tutorial.
Now, Cruz and I are going to play the solo patterns one at a time. First me, then Cruz. Let me count out this first one, and we'll keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cruz, that was great. I'm so glad that you were able to do that, and Albert was able to do it. And I've heard from people who have used the book that it's very helpful. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And since you have your trumpet here, how about you play a tune with your band? What if we do Jimmy McGriff's Doing My Thing?
All right, let's do it.
You know, one of the best places in Long Beach to see and hear jazz is Roscoe's Jazz Lounge. So I want to introduce you to Deborah Dubose, who helps promote Roscoe's Jazz Lounge and everything going on there. We've we've known each other for a really long time. When did we first meet?
I want to say it was summer of 2013 when we first were introduced to each other, and you were getting ready to start the Jazz Angels performing on stage. And I thought they were the neatest group of young folks getting together, playing their music, and making a good song on the stage.
All righty. No, that's cool. You know, you've been working with Roscoe's for the last few years to promote the Jazz Lounge.
Yes.
Happens to be by Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, which is also a great place to eat. What happens at Roscoe's Jazz Lounge? Like, what kind of music is there? Maybe who plays there?
We have a lot of heavy hitters, if you will. We've had a lot of outstanding groups that come through and perform, individuals or groups by themselves. Alphonse Mouzon, you know, rest in peace. He was a fantastic drummer. Azar Lawrence has come and graced our stage as a regular. We have Palmer Jazz Project, and they perform usually every other month. They're on calendar with us. We also have comedy nights, usually on Sundays, or Latin jazz. So our calendar's pretty full.
Right, and we are fortunate that to play at Roscoe's Jazz Lounge several times a year. It's so everyone always looks forward to it. It's so great. They even came up with some age-appropriate drinks, right? Do you remember what some of those are called?
I do. One of them was the Jazzarita. One of them was like the frozen hot chocolate, I guess, if you will. But everything is age-appropriate for the younger ones who are coming in to perform at the lounge, non-alcoholic.
Right. I think we had a straight note chaser,
Yes.
maybe, and a kind of blue or something like that. So when you're watching the Jazz Angels play, how does that make you feel?
Personally, I am delighted to see the young ones, going to the stage, and actually some of them look a little bit awkward carrying these big old trombones or whatever the instrument is. However, they get to the stage and they just perform wonderfully. I mean, everybody's music gels together. Clearly they have good supervision, and they know how to read their notes, and they make good music.
Some musicians take their first musical steps in improvisation and playing jazz in the Jazz Angels. We like to find a tune they can internalize and just speak it from their heart. Here's a really cool version of Sunny Moon for Two, featuring everybody on everything.
Okay, now someone who was in Jazz Angels and is now on our staff, I want to introduce you to Tatiana Tate. Tatiana, we go back a long ways from when you were like in 6th or 7th grade. What was it like to be in Jazz Angels back in the day?
Well, let's start off from the beginning. So in 6th grade, I was attending Bancroft Middle School, and one of my friends from concert band noticed that I was really eager to, learn more about my instrument. So he introduced me to Jazz Angels, and when I first joined the program, I was a little bit nervous because, I didn't really know much about jazz or like improvisation. But I remember one of my first jazz sessions with you and Albert. I ended up being introduced to actually one of my favorite songs called Killer Joe, and that was the first time I ever took an improvised solo. So that was a big moment for 6th grade me.
All right, that's cool. And then in later on, as you were in the program for a while, around 2013, we did a show on the history of jazz, and we performed it live, like at MacArthur Park and at the Long Beach Playhouse, and you were part of that whole process. Do you remember anything specific about that show?
Something specific. I remember Buddy Bolden's Blues. I definitely remember that. I also remember like the preparation it took to prepare for the history of jazz in terms of like memorizing the music and reciting the lines and understanding like what it means to put on a performance. I think it is important not only for myself, but what I teach my students to be well-rounded, so that rehearsing and practicing kind of helped me within like, my other like academic studies in school. So it was definitely beneficial.
Okay, yeah, it was like a complete whole project.
Yeah.
Or something, touched on all the facets of things we need to do in life. Fortunate for us, you've gone on to continue playing jazz, and you work with us, and you recently graduated from Cal State Fullerton in Jazz Studies, which is so awesome. And so you work for Jazz Angels, you write music, you play music, you arrange music. You're really busy. What's like a typical week like for you?
Well, a typical week for me, minus, all the cool Jazz Angel stuff, would be just taking time for myself to develop my craft as an artist. Like one of my main goals is I have my own band. So whether that be rehearsing with my band once a week or working on like the new song I have, sometimes I like to treat myself. So once a week I'd either go to a jam session in like Leimert Park, or I'd go see a new band at the Mint just to keep my creativity flowing and seeing what kind of like new artists are out there.
That's really cool. And just for the viewers, what's the name of your band?
Oh, what's funny? The name of my band is the Tatiana Tate Quartet. And it's always different musicians every time, or whoever I can pull together, and that's what I love about it, is like I can pull so many of these musicians from like all these different areas and create, beautiful music for the audience to hear. So
Right, it keeps it pretty fluid and flexible. That's really cool. So one of the things, part of the Jazz Angels curriculum is to have the students in our program, middle and high school age students, be mentored by our staff and professional musicians, and we do that by having them play alongside them. So I think it would be really neat to feature you playing Blue Moon with one of the bands this session coming up next.
it sounds great.
That was awesome. It's so cool to see our musicians grow musically as well as with their confidence and their self-esteem. Our vision is to become the premier model for music education, and I think it's happening. We're going to wrap up with a really cool tune. I'm not sure why he called it that, but here's So's Your Mother.
Thanks for tuning in to Jazz Live with the Way Cool Jazz Angels. Today's show is supported in part by the Arts Council for Long Beach, Port of Long Beach, Illinois Jacquette Foundation, and Altrusa of Long Beach.